Trent Alexander-Arnold, the rumors are swirling more than ever. And will he stay, will he go? That is the question mark. Aaron back with us from London. Aaron, straight away, you just told me there are two conflicting rumors that you've heard about. Can you tell us about those with Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Yeah, the two conflicting rumors, something that I've heard on good podcasts. I do the rounds. I watch all the podcasts, and I've seen some podcasts stating that Trent will agree a contract, whether that's 5 or 6 years, at around about 350k a week. Yeah, but also on the flip side to that, Danny Carvahal being injured at Real Madrid potentially accelerates any deal that we have for Trent. Now, there may be a world in where Trent goes in January and we get some kind of cost for him, because Real Madrid don't have a right back as it stands. They have a fairly significant ACL injury, and if they want to do anything in competitions this year, I would imagine they want a right back in ASAP. So in some world, there's a fairly okay outcome here for Liverpool where they could bring some cash in for a guy that could go for free next summer.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the contract that is rumored to be on the table. 350K a week is a lot of cashola. But I had this thought the other day that if Liverpool were to do that for Trent Alexander-Arnold, let's say 5 or 6 years, in 3 or 4 years, I would think that contract would probably look okay for Liverpool with the way that football is going in the world, with the way that just money is being thrown around constantly. That could be a bargain in 3 or 4 years for Liverpool because, wages are continually increasing. We obviously know that Liverpool cannot do what City or Chelsea or Madrid can do with the way that they throw money around, and some of them maybe perhaps under the table, allegedly. But I wouldn't say, oh, if Trent Alexander gets that, if Trent Alexander-Arnold gets that money, it's gonna completely destroy Liverpool's wage structure. It's a terrible deal. No, I would be okay with that. If FSG, if Edwards and Hughes and Slot, come together and say, yes, he's worth it, we need to keep him. Great. That's awesome. That's a letter of intent from FSG saying we're going to keep our best players. At the same time, Aaron, I would be okay if Liverpool said, not worth it, Trent, you're welcome to go. I know that sounds crazy, especially, and I would agree with you, Aaron. Terrible business if Trent leaves on a free. Terrible business. Terrible business. Perhaps your most valuable player. In terms of money. You let walk out the door for free. A Scouser, been with the club since he was a boy. Terrible bit of business. And I have a hard time believing that is what is going to happen. But Aaron, if you had to guess, if you had to predict, what do you think is going to happen with Trent Alexander-Arnold?
I think he'll go to Real Madrid.
Really? You believe he's going?
I think he'll go because I think Real Madrid will push it now. I think there's a relationship there between Jude Bellingham and Trent. I think that's developed so much. You've seen some of the training videos for England in the last week or so, in camp and what have you. He does everything with Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
There's a relationship there. I think he'll get good money in Real Madrid. One of the things that he mentioned was he wanted Liverpool to show him how much ambition they have to, I suppose, do something in the Premier League, but also, in other club competitions as well. We're doing well so far, Trent. If I'm Trent, I'm looking at Liverpool and saying there's high potential here. We have a really good season.
Yeah.
There's probably not so much at the moment with Real Madrid because obviously Barcelona look pretty tidy this season as well, and they're doing really well in the league. That's a 2-horse race where Liverpool, if Liverpool string some games together over this really tricky period, you could see Liverpool come Christmas in a really strong position, potentially
Yeah,
at the top of the league.
yeah.
And that's a lot to throw away.
I wonder, Aaron, if
Mm,
the November 27th meeting between Liverpool
hmm
and Real Madrid
hmm
will have any bearing. I mean, hopefully the contract is sorted by then,
mm,
perhaps one way or another. I don't know. But you have to wonder if Liverpool are able to come away with a result against Madrid and perhaps some of the early season dysfunction there
hmm
is revealed. If that is just a little bit of like a, Trent, do you want to go jump into this mess? Do you really want that? With all these divas and all this ego stacked on one team? I know the allure is very strong. Probably, I would say Real Madrid, Aaron, is probably up there with Liverpool, maybe the top two clubs in the world. Just if you take the whole picture, right?
hmm
The popularity, the the club size, the history. I think those two clubs are probably the top two. You know, the European history. Obviously, Madrid has won Champions League more than us, but as far as clubs that players would want to go to, obviously we've had Suarez, Coutinho leave for
mm.
Barcelona. That ship has sailed, I think. But the allure is there. If I were going to predict, I would say I just can't imagine Trent leaving to go to Madrid. I know it can happen, but
Mm.
I would be on the other end of that where I would say they're going to find a way to get Trent to sign a contract. They're gonna give him what he wants or needs to stay, and I think they're going to get the deal done.
I
But
think
I
there's
don't
a big
know.
factor in this. I think there's a big factor in this, Sam. Yeah, ego is huge in football,
It is.
and I think Trent is very driven by his ego.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think he would say to himself, I'm a Real Madrid player. Yeah, I know I walk into that Real Madrid team and I go and win trophies for the next 6 years,
Yeah.
consistently as well for 6 years. Looking at Real Madrid's history, they pretty much win something most years. He may look at Liverpool and think, I've outgrown Liverpool. But I,
Hmm.
I tell you now, when he comes back to Liverpool, trying to potentially hold us to ransom on a weekly wage, I'm not too sure what the reception would be coming back to Anfield for
Hmm.
Trent, because yes, Liverpool have let it slip, but if Liverpool tried to make an offer for a contract and Trent simply just goes, no, I want more money, will not go down well with Liverpool
No,
fans.
no, it won't.
Not at all.
Nope, it
Not at
won't.
all.
And hopefully, we say this about every player who wants to leave.
Mm,
Hopefully, he looks at what has happened in the past and, players who want to leave and go somewhere else. The grass is not always greener on the other side.
mm,
And it's, for a kid who grew up in the club to go to a different situation, to play in a different team, to play in
mm,
front of different fans. I don't know, Aaron. That to me for Trent is like, yeah, it's probably like, oh, it's Madrid. We can't fail. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna be a part of this, massive, massive squad that just somehow continues to bring in, the most expensive and top players in the world year
yeah.
after year. I'm sure that probably sounds like, yeah, this is gonna be easy. We're gonna win. But for your career, your legend, your story as a footballer. I just, you have to imagine that Trent. There's got to be this little seed of doubt in his mind. Like, what if it doesn't work? Didn't work for Coutinho. I mean, just straight off a cliff.
Where's the
Um,
competition for him though, Sam? With Carvahal injured, yeah, season one is a guarantee for Trent to play.
oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
right back for 4 or 5 months, second half of the season. He's guaranteed to start. if he comes in with a bit of a price tag and the name's going to propel him as as a future starter anyway. Just because he's Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's considered one of the best right backs in world football.
Yeah,
Real Madrid like names. Real Madrid like names. Yeah, they
they
love a
do.
name.
They do.
Galacticos for a reason. But I have a
Yeah.
question for you, Sam. Actually, I want to ask
All
this
right.
question because since Klopp has gone, and then first 4 or 5, 6 seasons under Klopp, Trent was creating assists, creating goals on a superhuman basis.
Yeah.
What? I mean, listen, he's a great footballer. He's got a really good IQ. He's got a really good football and IQ, and he sees a pass and all this kind of stuff. But it's the bigger picture is the team, yeah. The bigger picture is the team. What now does he really contribute to Liverpool?
It's I feel like it's diminished in the slot system. And here's the magic of the way that Klopp built our squad. And it
Hmm.
is Klopp that I think we have to thank for this. We are so strong in how Klopp brought through Connor Bradley,
Hmm.
to where I think that's where it's like, oh, we don't have to go out and buy, if we lose Trent for free and we have to go out and spend 60, 70 million to get another excellent right back. No, we've got him already. Connor Bradley comes in straight away. And he is fantastic. Probably a better defender than Trent. If he gets 5 or 6 games, Connor Bradley under his belt, gets ramped up. We saw him in the reverse fixture last season. I don't know if you call it reverse fixture. I remember watching Connor Bradley tear apart Chelsea Football Club. It was
Ben
beautiful.
Chilwell, Ben Chilwell in particular.
Beautiful. I mean, they had no answer for this kid who
Mm,
burst onto the scene. And so that's where it's like, okay, the magic of Liverpool is there's never going to be a player. Mo Salah, Luis Suarez, Fernando
mm,
Torres, no one's bigger than the club. And Liverpool always find a way. If somebody like a Trent Alexander-Arnold were to leave, Liverpool finds a way to excel and bring through the next generation of talent. And I've thought about this with Salah. Like Liverpool always seem to have that one talisman, right? Salah, Torres, Suarez, you name it, right? Gerrard. Liverpool just seem to have that ability to create, to bring through these players, and to make them world class. And Arne Slot in particular has a history of that. Um, I would say, Aaron, in answer to your question, it's a long answer, but what do we lose if Trent leaves? I think we lose a scouser. I think we lose a player who's been with and inside the club for a really long time. But
hmm.
here's another thing, Aaron. I don't think we necessarily lose a future captain of Liverpool Football Club. I have a
Agree.
really hard time picturing Trent Alexander-Arnold as the captain of this team.
Mm.
Once Virgil van Dijk is done, Trent, is he captain material? I can't really see it, Aaron.
Could you
Um,
argue? Could you argue maybe someone like McAllister or Gravenberch is future captain material?
I could see that more than Trent.
That midfield general, yeah, that guy that sits in the middle of the park and just creates.
Yeah,
Yeah, sees the majority of the pitch. I can see Gravenberch. If Gravenberch comes out of that shell, I mean, they were talking Gravenberch in the same breath at one point as Bellingham as the two up and coming stars in football.
right,
I
right.
mean, you know, Gravenberch is speaking with his football. Gerrard spoke with his football.
Yeah,
Gerrard wasn't the most vocal person in the world, but he had
right.
things, he had qualities, and football was one of them.
He had the fire, and that's
Oh,
that's what I don't see in Trent. Now, to Trent's credit, he plays a very low key, like personality wise, very
mm,
cool, calm, collected, for the most part. He's not going to go yell at Kanate or yell at his team
yeah,
like Hendo did. Jordan Henderson did that all game long.
great
When
captain, by the way. Great
Great
captain.
captain, great captain, because he was always lifting up the team when
Mm,
they needed to be lifted up. I remember during the COVID season
yeah,
when no fans, all you could hear, there were no fans in the stadium. All you could
Hendo's
hear
voice.
was Hendo
Yeah,
yelling
mate. Yeah, I know.
all
I know.
game long. Doesn't matter
Mm,
what's going on, he's yelling. and I don't think, not that a captain has to do that, but that's the type of leadership that I would want to see from a captain who is willing, and I don't think Virgil van Dijk does this very well either, who's willing to get in the face of his teammates and say, let's go, pick it up. We're poor. Let's go. Mid game, yelling at them. So, anyways, Trent Alexander-Arnold, I want him to stay in my heart of hearts.
I want him to stay. I want him to stay. Yeah,
I think
mate, yeah.
I think most Liverpool fans do, and I don't think it's the end of the world if he goes. But I want to see the team get this figured out. I want him.
I'm with you.
I want him to stay. I want him to sign. So
100%.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Get them in below. And as always, up the Reds.